Lunch breakers and takers, do us a favor. Take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button. Also hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our videos in the future. B, Panthers Nation, we're back. I know it seems like forever since we've put out a Panthers video, but we haven't forgot about you.
They're on by.
Yeah, okay. They're on by. Mm-hmm. So, all right, we got a matchup this weekend with the Denver Broncos. All right.
So this week, I mean, they're both 4-8 coming into this game. DJ Moore is going to be out. He's on the reserve list. Dennis Daly is going to be out as well. So a couple hits to the offense there, but Joe Brady and Teddy Bridgewater have kept the offense moving all season long. So I'm not really worried about that. I mean, DJ Moore is obviously a big player to be missing, but they still got Curtis Samuel and Robbie Anderson, so they should be okay. Christian McCaffrey not going to play at this point. I don't think there's really any reason for him to play again this season.
McCaffrey?
Yeah.
But the fact that he's gotten paid boatloads of money.
Well, they're going to need him for next season when they're actually competing for things.
Yeah.
But it's sort of an interesting matchup on one side. It's a top 10 offense in Carolina and a top 10 defense in Denver by DVOA. So, I mean, it should be, fun to watch that battle. The other side, not so much. Carolina's had a lower tier defense all year long, although they've played above expectations, I think. And, they have some exciting young players like Jeremy Chin and Brian Burns and Gross Matos and Brown. Denver's offense is terrible.
Yeah.
Drew Lock is coming in with nine touchdowns and 13 interceptions.
Yeah.
So that part of the game is probably going to be a little ugly. I think that Carolina, their offense will be able to function pretty well, even despite the fact that DJ Moore is out. They'll be able to control the game on offense, and I think it's going to be a win for Carolina.
Yeah, I agree. Carolina's defense isn't ranked high, but they have stepped up at times, right? Like they show flashes of being a good defense. Mm-hmm. And this is just one of those games where, like you said, Denver, their offense doesn't have anything going for them, and I think Carolina's going to be able to take advantage of that.
Yeah, I think Jerry Jeudy is a special player in the making there, but I don't think that Drew Lock can take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So Melvin Gordon, not real scary. Like you're not fearing anything on that Broncos offense.
No.
So I actually expect the defense to play pretty well in this one, possibly force a couple turnovers, but I think they'll hold down that Broncos offense pretty well. And like I said, Bridgewater, Samuel, and Robbie Anderson and Mike Davis, they're gonna put some points up, and it's gonna be, I don't want to say an easy win, but I think a 2-score win for Carolina.
Okay. So, all right, what's your score prediction?
I'm going to say 27-14.
27-14. Okay. All right. I'm gonna go 24-10. I don't see Denver getting 2 touchdowns.
No. I mean, maybe not, but it's a long game, right?
Yeah.
There's, but yeah, like I said, they're 4-8 coming into this week, so obviously they're not really playing for the playoffs anymore. Wouldn't be upset if they lost this game,
right?
But they're not in tank mode or anything like that. They have their quarterback in Bridgewater. Really, at this point, I'm looking more towards the draft for Carolina than I am worrying about their matchups week to week.
Yeah.
They need to, ideally they would like to be picking high enough to get Sewell out of Oregon, or another one of the left tackles there, so they can finally lock down that position.
Right.
But they really need to be focused on upping the protection for Bridgewater.
Yeah.
If you're not in range for any of those top O linemen, then you got to be looking at the secondary in Carolina. They need corners, they need safeties.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, O-line is a priority, and cornerbacks are, look, O-line is 1A, cornerback is 1B, right? They need to really focus on that this offseason through free agency and the draft. So depending on how they finish out, I mean, we got to take a look at the schedule, see who their last 4 games are. But that'll really determine where who they should be looking at in the draft. But either way, even if they finish out 8-8, right, you can still get a quality player. You just got to do your job and identify the right player and draft them.
Yeah, and I'm always critical of Marty Herney, but Marty Herney always hits in round one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not too worried about that. It's the rounds after that he usually causes problems. But this past season, it looks like he did a pretty good job there as well.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So,
I agree. So,
Carolina's a team that's looking like they're moving in the right direction with Matt Rule, and even with Marty Herney there. I mean, look, I still think he should get fired, but this past offseason they did a pretty good job. So yeah, I mean, win or lose, I don't really think it's that big of a deal for Carolina for these last 4 games,
right.
Because you're not playing for the playoffs. And you're not, trying to get to that number 1 spot to get Trevor Lawrence or anything like that. So it's time to just kind of sit back and enjoy the team and check out the young players and see how they develop.